All right, well, the lawnmower saga continues. The lawnmower starts and runs now. I think I told you guys that. The deck that was on it is totally trash. So I was on a hunt for quite a while to find a new deck. Replacement deck. Finally found this one, which is darn near brand new. I don't see any significant rusting on it at all. There's a little scuff right there. That may, well, I don't even know if that's rust or if that's just grease. Anyway, the deck is in really good shape, but it's not an exact match. And I looked and looked and looked and tried to find a deck that looked to be an exact match for mine. Couldn't find them. Find 54-inch decks all over the place. People say, oh yeah, they fit a Craftsman. Oh, they fit a Husqvarna. Oh, they fit this, they fit that. Every one of them's different. Somehow, just a little bit different with the pulley arrangement or whatever. So I told myself, you know, I really don't want to buy one that then I've got to fabric cobble back together. I'd love to have one that's just plug and play. But I couldn't find one, and I met this guy who's kind of a scrapper. And so he was kind of looking around for me, and he found this one. And he said, yeah, man, it's brand new. We'll make it work. We'll make it fit. Okay. So I agreed to buy it. And of course, in hindsight, that was stupid, because what I paid for it was only a couple hundred less than a brand new replacement deck. And now I'm going to spend all sorts of time and headache and frustration trying to fight it on there. It would have been better to spend the extra couple $100 and buy one plug and play. I don't know. I'm stupid. Like I said, I'm stupid. You guys are allowed to say it. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out now. Excuse me, I'm tired, I guess. I'm trying to figure out now if I can rob any of the old pulleys off my old one, and tensioner assemblies, whatever, to fit onto this one and make it work. Long story short, if your belts come together somewhere in the middle, like this here, and run to the back, it should work. As long as no belts are rubbing and they're all, you know, running around in the right order. You've got to make sure that the V, this is a V belt, okay? So you got to make sure that the V of your belt fits into the drive of your pulleys, and that the flat back of your belt, sorry, this is the V here. This is the flat back. So you got to make sure that the V fits into the slot of your drive pulley, and the flat back fits against the flat back of any of your idler or tensioner pulleys. So I think I can do it. It's just going to take some studying. I may have to drill some additional holes. For this deck here, I already took this piece off, but this was the slack adjuster here. It sits here and has a spring that hooks over to wherever you need to, and then you can put a wrench in there to pull it to loosen, and then the spring holds it tight. So that one's almost in the right spot, but where this hangs out off the end, it's wanting, this would have actually almost worked, but that's wanting to sit right there with the length of belt that we have right now. So that's the other thing, you can look for longer belts. So anyway, I'm going to study the diagram here on mine and see how it recommends that it all goes together, and see if I can make this other one look something like that and make it work. So wish me luck, I guess. Alright, so a couple updates on the mower deck here today. I've made several, I guess you'd say, significant modifications to make it more like my old one. And it's funny, a lot of these modifications, you know, all I had to do was move a pulley from one deck to the other. The holes were already in the deck. These decks, you know, again, they're kind of universal. And so they have a lot of holes and stuff that are already in them that you can just kind of plug stuff into. So I don't know if you guys remember what it used to look like, but it did not have this pulley. It had a tensioner pulley in here, but it was the, I think it was that one actually. I'd already taken it off I think when I made the first video, but I think it was this tensioner. It may have been that one. That was the other tensioner pulley over there, but that one did not have any way to like get a hold of it. This one here has these square holes you can put a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch drive into to pull it over. That one you should have to use a pry bar or try to pull it with your hand. So I made sure and put this one on. Now the trick is this one has this kind of lip here that you put that tensioner into. So if this pulley is too far forward, this won't work, okay? Because if it comes, well, really, if it comes any further forward than that, you see the belt hits that bracket right underneath there. So this pulley has to end up, you know, really far back, and the tension of the belt is going to make it want to stay back. The spring here will pull it back forward against the belt. So I don't know if this belt will be long enough or not. I don't remember if this was I think this was the original belt off my old deck, which if I set this deck up to be like my old deck, then my old belt should work. Anyway, oh, so I swapped on, yeah, I put this tensioner assembly I think on, but this one did not have the greasable pivot point. So that pivot point was pretty well seized up. So I swapped in the greasable pivot point off my old deck, and you can see it's moving real easy now. I haven't actually greased it, I just put a lot of WD-40 in there. I stuck this random bolt in here to have a place to hook the spring to because there was no obvious spring mount position. And then I had to drill a hole. I just got done doing this. Drilled a hole on this end for that spring to hook into. Now that's, you know, it's nothing special, but as long as the spring stays in tension, then it'll all stay hooked in. I put that pulley on off the old mower. It just, the bolt hole was already there. I think I may have drilled it out a little bit bigger to fit the bolt, but that pulley, put it on right in place. This pulley, I had to put this one on because otherwise coming off of this pulley out here, the belt wanted to come over and hit the tire and it wanted to get caught up in all this crap. So I had to put this pulley in, and see, that's really what you have to have. You know, again, the guy that I bought it from, he made a real simple point. He said it doesn't matter what color the deck is, doesn't matter what shape it is. If your belt comes together in the middle and goes to the back, you can make it work. And so that's what we've done here. We've made it come together in the middle and go to the back. This I had to actually cut and weld off of my other deck. Yeah, it looks like crap. I never claimed to be a good welder, but I got it tacked on there. And there's really not a whole lot of energy on that. I mean, I guess it will be holding the belt in tension, but basically I can't really move it by hand. You know, it feels like it wants to move a little bit, but I think it'll be okay. The last thing I've got to do is put this front hook. She's really trying hard. She's really trying hard to get that tire off that bike for no apparent reason, just so she can do it. The last thing I've got to do is just tack this. Well, this bracket again was off my old deck. I just got it cut off just now, and I'm just going to do a little, just grind here, grind there, weld that thing on. I was going to try to use that other bracket that was on there. It's the wrong size. And this bracket actually still will work. I had bent it to make the hook fit. Here's the hook, by the way. I had bent it to make this hook fit, and it was pretty ghetto, but it was going to work. But then this hook was too far forward and wouldn't actually tension up. And even if I tightened the bolts all the way down, they wouldn't have tensioned up. But this hook is much further back. And that's how it was on, you know, my old deck. So I'm going to just tack it there and tack it on the other side. And then this front mounting bracket should work without have to be modified. I can bend these back out the way they were, and I should be able to bolt in my front roller off my old mower. This deck has a setup for rear rollers. The way it was hanging under the mower right now, those brackets were wanting to hit the back wheels, but I think with the proper front bracket on, it'll pull that deck forward a little bit. It'll make those not want to hit the back tires. So I have to now try to, I guess, fit this thing back up under the mower to make sure that I secure that bracket in the right spot. You know, it's got some play forward and backward. Let's see, I guess the worst case is I put it further backwards. or further towards the back, not backwards, but further towards the back. And then I would just have to loosen those nuts a little more to make that effectively longer. But I think I will. I'm at least going to put it underneath the mower anyway to also center it up, because it, you know, when you look at the deck, you just kind of assume that that pulley is centered, but it's actually not. There's more deck to this side than there is to that side. So we'll set the mower up on top of it here and get it lined up where it needs to be, make a couple marks, and then we'll pull it back out from underneath of there. That'll give me a chance to check that the belt actually fits too. But pull it back out from underneath, and then we'll weld that bracket where it needs to be.